What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we're gonna take a look at Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Deluxe version from Hot Toys, and you can order this at bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. At the time of this video, I think that's still available. I checked today, it is. The single pack just sold out, but it's just me. I always go for the deluxe, especially with the dynamic base, because it just, I mean, I love this movie, so I knew I was gonna go all out. The only one I haven't really picked up was Green Goblin, the new suit. I might pick that up later on, but I do have the Deluxe Goblin, so I'm not in a hurry. But let's open this guy up. As you can see, it's massive. If you go for the Deluxe, the box is, man, I got this and the Batman at the same time, and I don't know how Big Bad can ship it for $4 because it weighs like 25 pounds for both, and the box is like, I don't know, you can put a small child in there. But be prepared if you get this, because you're in for a treat. Yes, it's massive, but the base itself, Sandman, you're gonna love it. I'm telling you right now, if you're a fan. So there's two, I guess, type of collectors that this caters to. The fans from No Way Home, which is, you know, I that's me, and also the fans of the old school Raimi Spider-Man, which is also me. So it was a no-brainer for me. As you can see here, well, there's only one layer of this box, and you do, according to the description, that's just a Sandman cure. So I don't even know what that means, but there you go. I thought it was gonna have a fancy name, but I guess just Sandman cure. This is a controversial one. I got this recently, maybe like 2 weeks ago, from Big Bad. Any time that I order from Big Bad, it's because they're a bit, I guess, delayed. I always get the second batch, which works for me every single time because they don't have any issues whatsoever. So apparently what I do have is a second batch, I guess, you know. So honestly, I looked at the first batch. I mean, I get it, but I don't know if a second batch really exists. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. It still has the stitches on it, so it's not like they moved it from the front to the back. But I guess mine is more tamed. If I see a first batch, I can tell you, you know, I wish I could tell. I was like, oh man, this is really a big difference right here. What's big is this base, and we're gonna take a look at more on that in this accessories. But let's go through the normal motions here. You got the meme hands, the pointy hands. You got the web shooting hands. Well, you can replace the web shooter. We've seen that before. All the hands here, you know, the expressive hands. You got the crawling hands right there. I put it up, and you got a hand that you know, just holds stuff. So this one basically holds the cure and the mask, and also the other hand holds the web. I thought there was gonna be two of the web holding hands, I guess, just left. You know, this right here, you'll know it because it does have a hole right by the fingertips where you insert those webs, and you do get this Sandman cure, which just looks like an electronic device with some wires on it and some, you know, it looks like some sort of a weather device. And then you hold it right there. It does have, it feels like a science project. And then you have this, I guess, caution signs that are metal. They look pretty nice. You just kind of place them randomly on the Sandman base, and the usual webs. They changed the webs at and around Spider-Man 2 figures. So, you know, in here, you're still going to see the usual, you know, like this web right here. We've seen it a million times. This is my third Spider-Man just from that movie alone. So trust me, I do have a gazillion of this. I don't want any Spider-Man webs anymore. And then you got the empty mask that is made out of fabric, which is really cool. I like it. And then you got the Tobey head sculpt. When then he does have that neck piece that kind of shows his neck now. This is the biggest accessory, and this is I tell you what, this I believe, like, I don't know, size wise it feels bigger and more imposing than the lizard base. Now that base is more, it looks better, it's more colorful, it's more detailed, I would say, because of the different things going on. But this is massive, and it feels like, not feels like it, there is sand, you hold it and it feels like they molded this guy, put a glue on it, and then just dabbled some real sand on it, because you hold him, there's textures to him, and that's a good thing because it feels more authentic. It's just not a plastic that looks like a sand, it's plastic, I would say, wrapped in a sand, so that why it also feels like a sand. But the overall look, I do like it, you know, like that rock, it looks like a fingernail. There's floating rocks all over the place. You see where you insert the dynamic stand as well. You can see some bars here. I forgot you call that the H beam. I know that's an H beam because I installed one. And then, you know, the base looks good as well. You got his face that kind of moves around. I didn't get the exclusive version that's exclusive to Sideshow. I got this at Big Bad. Just to let you know, you could, because I do have Doc Ock Deluxe version, you could insert one of his tentacles, because, you know, I have 4 extra, but you gotta put like tape around it because it's loose inside. But yeah, the moment you touch it, you know it is a you know it's Sandman base. All right, tailoring for this guy, an overall body. A lot of people are complaining that he's not big enough, and, you know, maybe there's some truth to that. This version, though, if I'm gonna play a devil's advocate here, this is an older Tobey, so he might not be as muscular. Not that he was, well, he was muscular on Spider-Man 1, because, you know, like, he was posing in the mirror and all that stuff. So now he's a little older here, so maybe I can excuse this look right here, so like a dad bod, so to speak. But overall, I'm still pretty happy. I think it still could represent the 2000 Spider-Mans in your collection, because I also intend on doing that, posing him next to the, you know, Goblin and Doc Ock. Those are my superhero growing up. Well, I already grown back then, but I wasn't a child, but, you know, it still brings back memories, and I love recreating them using this Hot Toys. And I don't see any, this is not like Indiana Jones where he's old and totally different figure. I still think it works out. Head sculpt, a lot of controversies here. The stitches in the front, and they used fabric, which I don't mind. You know, I just wish we don't have a Spider-Man 2 issue where towards the latter part, where some people were, not even the latter part, were having bleeding issues. There's some sort of with mine, I can tell it's the glue. They use a fabric glue on top, so over time it just showed up. It showed up on the figure itself. So now you can see some like a shadow of glue on top where you see the stitches are. And then some other collectors have a blob of like black ink. I don't know if that's the head sculpt just bleeding through it, but mine so far is so good. And also the stitches on mine is not as bad as what I've seen on some Spider-Man. So I don't know if I got lucky, or it's just that's the advantage of I guess Big Bad being a little bit late. So therefore I would get the latter version, the version 2, so to speak. But as you can see here, I got no problems with the webbing. Stitches are fine. Head sculpt, another interesting one. It looks pretty good to me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't have any problems with it Do I wish it has a rolling eyeball system? Sure. He looks older, you know, not as old as the picture that you saw, but then again, this is different lighting. I got lights bouncing all over this guy. You got the 5 o'clock shadow out there. Like the hair, I think they captured the chin perfectly. The hair looks pretty good as well. I like this new look where you can see his neck now. His connector from the head sculpt to the body is so much better than the Andrew Garfield one. I've seen people complaining about the gap, as you can see there, from his chin to the neck, that there is a gap. But I know what, that is there for, so to have some clearance. If you want to move the figure, have him tilt down and looking down, that is the purpose of that. So I'm not gonna fault them for that. Looking straight on, you wouldn't even recognize it. If they close that gap, people are gonna complain that there's no movement to it. So can't really win. But they could have done better, sure. Articulation wise, it feels like it could move pretty well. You can see the head sculpt here. You can move him side to side. This is one piece, so just be careful moving this around. I'm okay with it. I didn't feel any restrictions whatsoever. This is in a ratchet, his shoulders, so you can move it up pretty high up. You can move the arms forward, bend the elbows pretty tight, as you can see there. You got some pretty good movement with this figure. You can raise his arm up, and you can probably do more if you just kind of force it. He doesn't need to do this. No one needs to do that, even in real life. You got a bicep swivel there, butterfly joints at the shoulders. The legs are ratcheted as well, so you could have him kick up. With the Spider-Man, it became more articulated now than ever. It wasn't the case before. You even got the toe articulation here. So I like to push the boundaries, posing figures to an extent, because I also don't want to ruin the suits. I would do it with the intent of capturing the photo, but not by displaying them. Some people, they're fine with it, and if you are, good for you. I'm not. I don't know. I just couldn't bear. Like you can see the show. He can move backwards pretty high here, move forward. So the ab crunch is definitely present. So you'll have fun posing this guy as well. Yeah. So speaking of posing, let's put him with a base in Sandman. I like I mentioned earlier, I love Sandman, man. I love this base. I love the lizard. Yes, they're huge. Yes, they do take up space, but I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. I love him. I think there's more, because right now I have the entire crew completed. I can just imagine, the things that I could do with these guys, picture-wise and display option-wise. Even if you don't need to display the base if you don't have the room for it, because I do have a lot of diorama pieces. I don't display them all. So even with the head sculpt, it looks nice. I would love to have like a dedicated Spider-Man without the mask and just have this head sculpt on, because that connector, it's not, I don't know, I just don't have a lot of confidence in it. I feel like if I keep on putting it back on, I'm gonna ruin it over time, and I really don't want to do that. But this head sculpt looks good. I think it looks so good to be left in a box. Even without the rolling eyeball system, it looks pretty solid, and there's something about an unmasked superhero that just, I love it. And this is another pose with the Sandman, him holding that cure. Again, only for this video, because that waist grabber, we all know what damage it could do to a figure, especially somebody with like web patterns like him. Even the pattern on his blue suit. You leave it there over time, it would eat away those little details that he does have because of, just the friction and all that stuff. There must be a better way of doing this moving forward. But you know what? For me, regardless, I don't want to post him in this post anyway because of the suit. So, that's all right. But that's it. Final thoughts on this Spider-Man. I love it. I love these three guys. None of them are perfect. As a matter of fact, this entire line of No Way Home is not as impressive as the previous Hot Toys that I've received. None of them are as impressive as, from a figure standpoint, Black Adam or the Batman. None of them are. But I still love them for a different reason, because they mean so much. I love the movie, and all these characters, you just kind of grew up and you just end up loving all of them. Even the villains. So for me, even though they're not perfect, I had to get them. I had to. Now, are we gonna see a 2.0 of this, guys, and address those issues? For example, Garfield has so many issues: body, the mask, the eyes, the head sculpt, the way the head sculpt connects, just a plethora of issues. Maybe they would address that, but maybe not. I don't want to take that risk. If they come up with a 2.0, guess what? I'll have 2 of these Spider-Mans. I'm totally fine with that. If they come up with a better body for this Tobey Maguire in the future, rolling eyeball system and all that good stuff, I'll get him. How many Batmans have I owned? I don't mind if I love the IP, the character, and there's significant improvement. What I'm not gonna do though is hold on to this idea, and that might or might not happen. I will enjoy this in my possession for now. If they decide to version 2 this, I would get that too, But yeah, let me know in the comments. Do you have this? How do you feel about this? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.